Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl Butler, and you're listening to the Mighty Mommy's Quick and Dirty Tips podcast, which will help make your life as a parent a little bit easier and a lot more fun. Welcome! Today's episode is number 360, titled 6 Discipline Corrections You Can Easily Make. As parents, we want the best for our kids, and because they don't come with an owner's manual, there are plenty of times we navigate uncharted parenting territory by trial and error. When a child is testing the waters and giving us grief, there are numerous ways to respond. However, sometimes we might not make the best choices. When it comes to disciplining, we will undoubtedly make a few mistakes along the way, but there are certain situations that we should course correct so that we don't send the wrong message to our kids. Mighty Mommy has definitely experienced these discipline blunders with her own 8 kids. So, here are 6 corrections you can use to make it right. Tip number 1, giving too many chances. It's possible to have good intentions about imposing a consequence on a child who's misbehaving or has not followed your directions, but somehow you just don't end up following through. For example, you're at the playground with a group of moms and their kids, and it's finally time to go home and get ready for dinner. You say, "Jake, it's time to go home for supper." Then you continue to talk to the other adults present, and 5 minutes later, you give little Jake another shout-out. "Hey, Jake, I told you we have to leave now. Let's go." You still go right on talking, though, until it's just you and another parent left. Now you're exasperated and begin screeching, "Jake, if you don't get off the slide and come here right this minute so we can go, you're going to bed right after dinner." At this point, Jake has completely tuned you out and instead continues playing happily on the swings. So, try instead. You honestly cannot blame a child such as Jake for ignoring the request to leave the playground when he knows darn well that you as the parent are not going to follow through. In this situation, a child could easily milk another half hour of playing. If you want your child to take you seriously, you have to establish the boundaries and then stay the course. Don't give extra chances. "Jake, we're leaving the playground and heading home for dinner. You can go down the slide one more time and then it's time to leave." Now you need to be disciplined and leave the conversation with the other adults and smile and walk over to the slide so that Jake knows you really mean that you're leaving after that one last slide. As he's finishing that last slide, praise him as he's landing. "Great job and great listening. We can come back to the playground very soon and play again." When you consistently show your child that you're not going to be distracted and give extra chances, your word will soon be golden. Tip number 2, modeling inappropriate behavior. You know, we want our kids to treat others with respect and kindness, but what about those times when you're out shopping and someone cuts you off in the line at the deli or cuts you off in traffic? Are you able to keep your cool and grin and bear it, or do you fly off the handle and make a rude comment, rather loudly under your breath, to the elderly lady who just pushed her way in front of you at the deli counter? Or do you lay on the horn when things don't go your way when you're driving? Try instead. Remember that you always have an audience when your kids are in your presence or within earshot of you. We're human, so we're going to get irritated and speak harshly or display a temper now and then. That's just how it is. But just as soon as it happens and you catch yourself, stop right there and apologize in front of your kids. "Mommy is really sorry that she just got so upset when that lady cut us off in the store. Even though it wasn't her turn, I shouldn't have made a mean face at her." By explaining why you're sorry to your kids, you demonstrate that we need to be held accountable for our actions. Tip number 3, focusing on the negative. As a rule, kids want to please others, especially their parents. When we get caught up with our daily to-do lists, juggling our kids' schedules, caring for our homes, working part or full-time, and trying to make time for our spouses, never mind caring for ourselves, it's time to get caught up. It's easy to get caught up with what's not right, and it's usually our kids who are at the receiving end of hearing our complaints. "You never make your bed," or "Why is your coat on the floor?" or "You still haven't finished your homework, even though you've had over an hour to complete it?" Or "I wouldn't wear my hair like that if I were you. What are you thinking?" We may think that pointing out what's not right or what's not being done is a motivator, but in truth, it's just the opposite. Too many negative comments turn people off, including our kids. Try instead. It's okay to let a child know when he's done something wrong, but it's how we tell them that can make the difference. Using a negative and judgmental tone when you're trying to get your child to change a behavior or take care of a chore will ultimately backfire. That's great that you're going to make your bed before you leave for school every day. Sends the message that you have confidence in your child that she will take care of this chore rather than criticize how she never makes her bed. You can also ask a question such as, what's going on that's preventing you from completing your homework assignment? To put a more caring spin on the situation rather than belittling. Tip number 4. Bribery. Most parents occasionally fall into a trap of bribes as a disciplinary tactic, usually to avoid an embarrassing, disruptive, or even downright humiliating event involving their child. I know. Try taking 8 kids under the age of 10 to church every week. Most of us have desperately relied on a good bribe to get our cranky toddler through the grocery store, a neighbor's house that is not kid-friendly, or to keep our kid from ratting us out to our mother-in-law about what we really serve for dinner most nights. But the experts insist that focusing on and reinforcing good behavior is a better way to go. Try instead, focus on appropriate behaviors. Then all you have to say is that you were so very proud of how he acted at a certain event or an activity. Daddy and I loved how nicely you played with your little sister while we had our company over last night. This way, your child will go looking for your positive reinforcement and genuine happiness without expecting a certain reward at the end of the day. That puts you back in control of discipline, praise, and any special efforts you choose on behalf of your child. Tip number 5. Not standing a united front with your parenting partner. It's been going on for ages. Kids trying to play one parent off against the other. And you probably know what I mean. A typical scenario might be when a child wants to stay up past his bedtime. Hey, Dad, can I stay up and watch some of the Star Wars movie with you tonight? Then he'll say, it's okay with me, but you better check with your mother first, and so on. Hey, Mom, can I watch the Star Wars movie tonight? Dad said it was okay. Try instead. If your child has a regular bedtime, don't make allowances for staying up later without discussing it with your spouse first. Maybe one of you is a bit easier than the other, and your darling child knows that as well. If a school bedtime is 8 p.m., agree between the both of you that you're going to stick to that, and then you could respond, Dad and I both want you to get a good night's sleep on a school night, but we're fine with letting you stay up late on Friday to watch the movie. And tip number 6, yelling to get a result. Yelling may be an effective way to vent frustration, but most children of frequent yellers soon learn to tune it out. According to a new study published in the Journal of Child Development, yelling, defined as shouting, cursing, or insult hurling, may be just as detrimental as physical punishment to the long-term well-being of adolescents. Even in otherwise loving homes, yelling, cursing, or insults can have many of the same effects as hitting and can lead to depression, anxiety, and very low self-esteem in kids. Try instead. Turn your voice into a whisper. Even when you're not angry, you may find yourself yelling. Get in the car. We're late for practice. If you make a softer voice a habit, you'll be less prone to yell at other times too. When I turn the volume down and whisper to my kids, I get their attention immediately because they know I have something important to say. And one trick. Speak to your family members only when you're in the same room, whenever possible, instead of yelling from room to room. What discipline blunders have you made, and what did you do to make it right? Share your thoughts in the comments section at quickanddirtytips.com/mighty-mommy, or post your ideas on the Mighty Mommy Facebook page, and you can easily email me at mommy@quickanddirtytips.com. And please visit my family-friendly boards at pinterest.com/mightymommyqdt. Wishing you a content and joyful week with your family. Thanks for listening, and until next time, happy parenting.